bit his dick off.
Is it gay to bite someone's dick off? Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. So today we're a little less optimized with what we want to talk about. I mean, we know what we want to talk about, but we don't know if it's going to be enough for a full podcast. So we're either going to have a shorter podcast, or we're going to fill the last little bit of it with some random tidbits that I'm sure you guys will like. So Juan, how you been? How you been, buddy?
I've been good. I've been watching our YouTube videos a lot. I wish more people were watching our YouTube videos. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, I've been good.
You just been going through our YouTube videos and just checking them out?
I watch them every day.
Really?
Yeah. Mainly I'm looking for feedback.
Yeah. Alexa, really?
Yeah, mainly I've been looking for feedback, which we haven't got very much of, but
I mean,
I've been checking. I
think that's what we need. Like, I'd like more. It's like I don't even necessarily need a ton of views or anything like that, but just like it'd be nice to get just a little bit more feedback. It was. I know when we first started this podcast, I did get a good amount of feedback from a couple friends.
See, for me, it's less about the views and and more about like comments and whatnot. I just want to know how I'm doing.
If people enjoy what we're doing, that's all I care about, even if it's 3 people. But you know. Whatever, we'll cry about our problems later. At the very least, we get together and we get to talk to each other, and that's always good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't been doing much. Just living my life, doing a lot of the thinking about what kind of content I can create and stuff like that. I've playing a little bit of Escape from Tarkov.
I want to play it.
You're talking about how you wanted to play it real bad.
I'm buying it.
Yeah,
I'm buying it.
You're gonna go home
weekend.
as soon as the podcast gets over. You're gonna be like, yeah, I was gonna go to Menards and buy this thing, but I just bought Escape.
I'll have to make up an excuse to Kayla. Be like, baby, I got mugged in Menards parking lot. So I don't have any money.
I
lost $40 exactly, so I couldn't buy the dryer.
I lost $40 exactly. Yeah. So that's all I've really been doing. Just like I said, thinking about what kind of content I can create. Like thinking of so many things that I can do. I don't know. Just really been on a kick of wanting to create things, and I've checked out our YouTube stuff recently too, and just checked out kind of a plethora of things. Just really interested in doing things. You know what I mean? Tired of not doing things that I want to do just because I'm lazy or because I don't know how it'll work. I just want to fucking do it, dude. So I just think that's what we need to start doing.
On the whole YouTube thing and stuff, I definitely have to change our audience for that.
Yeah. You should work on that. I don't think it needs to be described, but
No. I just don't. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
It's because you're trying to reach out to everybody, and everybody's fine, but it's gonna. They pay they take money and use it towards specific areas that cost them less to advertise to.
See, the way I have it right now, it says it's too broad.
Exactly.
But then I switched it to just gaming, and they were like, it's too few. It's
no. I think it's just you need.
I just have to go through there and change some stuff.
Yeah, just actually go through, which is fine.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not upset with anybody viewing our stuff or anything.
No, but we'll get a lot more legitimate and actual feedback if we get people that
not you free Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So. Anyways, I wanted to start off this podcast real quick with a little update from a topic that we talked about last week. We had talked about the Starbucks situation with the African American fellows that I mean,
damn it, Cody.
You don't like fellows? I think that's a good way to describe people. What's wrong with that? Guys, men. Dudes,
humans,
yeah, fellows. That's what a human is. They're fellow humankind.
You guys, from now on, our audience, you're the fellows.
You're the fellows. Everybody's a fellow. Hey, fellows, what's going on?
That's our thing now, Cody. It's a thing.
No, I didn't want to do that. Anyways, so basically, we weren't fully informed on the situation. I guess we didn't look into it enough, and there's also some more stuff that was updated on it.
I've seen a lot of people making YouTube videos and stuff, or just Facebook videos in general, talking about people leaving or taking issues out of context, and that I feel like this is where this falls. Is it kind of blew up a little bit, and it was a little bit out of context.
I guess. I mean, like, it depends on what you're talking about. It's out of context because.
I just feel like you should have the full story always.
Right. Yes, you should always have the full story, and I think what it was is there.
Not that I'm agreeing or disagreeing, but it is. It seems like it's a little bit out of context.
Yeah, there needs to be the full story, and you always need to have both sides of things before you can accurately judge. And then it's also left up, I guess, to whoever listens to it how they want to take the how it goes. But. Basically, what happened with this is like we thought they were the ones that were using the bathroom. And there was that incidence of the guy that did need to use the bathroom that was told he couldn't unless he bought something. But then a white customer went into the bathroom without buying anything. That was an actual situation with them. But with the two guys at this other location. They were actually not even trying to use the bathroom or anything. They were there and they were just waiting around for a meeting. And they claim it was a business meeting. I don't know like how much of that is like. I mean, it's obviously their perspective of it.
Yeah.
They were there for a business meeting and they're just waiting for their other person to show up and talk about this stuff that's going on.
But going back on like what we said last week, isn't that kind of what Starbucks is like meant for?
Well, and that's where like it exploded even more into my mind of just like. What was the fucking problem? And this is why like I don't understand why people were saying
like isn't that what your establishment is used for? Besides obviously coffee and like buying coffee and whatnot,
right?
But like you offer
like free Wi-Fi. You offer people to sit there and read books. Like there's most Starbucks there. Well, not most, but there's a large number of Starbucks that are in like Barnes and Nobles and bookstores where you can just go there and not buy anything to drink and just sit there and do what you want. Like people use that. For that, it's a well-known thing, and I guess it's just basically it was the manager had taken didn't want them there, saw that they were sitting there, and
but
thought,
why? What's the reasoning?
The reasoning was that they weren't paying for anything, and that they were just soliciting, I guess, or whatever.
See,
it is.
I would be more understanding if there was an actual issue.
Exactly.
If there was like, okay, they're just hanging out, making a ruckus, like being obnoxious, whatnot. I would understand more, but if you just got people sitting there.
But the issue was, and let's be honest, it was two black males that the manager probably felt uncomfortable and was like, I don't know, something seems fishy. How about we just like have them leave because they shouldn't be here, sitting here anyways. And then when he asked them to leave, or she, I think it might have been a female, when they got asked to leave and they said like, no, like we're waiting for somebody. Like, this shouldn't be an issue. I get the point of, like, it's a business, whatever, but at the end of the day, like, I guarantee you at that time, at that day alone, there was probably several other people that had been in there.
Mm-hmm. Doing the exact same thing.
Just to do the same thing, but because for some reason these people intimidated her or whatever. So, needless to say, that person lost their job, and Starbucks actually is, like, super about what they said they were doing, like everybody that tried to like say like, oh, people are blowing this out of proportion and that they shouldn't be closing down stuff. Like there's like posts of like people I guess like saying like they're commenting on Starbucks's page saying that Starbucks is needs to stick to nothing to do with politics and needs to stick to just selling coffee.
Well, it's not even about like politics and whatnot. It's just about like having a good environment in general,
right? And teaching all of your employees that's what they want their environment to be like. They don't want it to be any inclusion.
As a business, I feel like as a business owner, as like the CEO, you have the right to you
have the right to do whatever you want with your business
exactly,
at the end of the day. And if you're not if you're not only are you not discriminating, but you're trying to teach people that they need to try to get this sort of like predetermined like discrimination out of their head, like.
Good on you.
You have that full ability. Like if you want, at the end of the day, if you want to close your stores down and teach your employees like to do something,
I see nothing wrong with
your
that.
employees can decide if that's something they want to do, if they want to still work for you, if that's what you're going to do, and you have the right to teach what you think is going to be best for your company if that's what it's about. And at the end of the day, like I said, there's like another post that someone was like, you're closing down your stores, and now all these people aren't going to be able to get coffee, and Starbucks is like. Sorry, like they actually commented back and said, like the page itself and said, sorry about you not being able to get coffee, but we think that everybody having the fair right to get coffee or not or anything is a little bit more important than one afternoon of everybody not being able to get some
I feel
coffee.
like education trumps most.
Yeah,
You know, like
and that's kind of what it is. So I just wanted to like give a quick update on that and just say like, you know, like we do apologize that we didn't get the full information, but like there was still more coming out at the time, and that
I think I still stand with Starbucks. Like
Yeah.
I think what they're doing is pretty good. It's good for them. You know?
Yeah, what they did was a smart move, and I think just having some sort of just education there, period, for their employees is more above and beyond than most people would even do, because it's a class at the end of the day, and it's free information for you, whether you agree with it or not. I think they more than likely were paid to go there. Like, you don't just show up at stuff. So
this is mandatory. We're not paying you. I don't think that's the case.
They got there and got paid to learn something.
And honestly, if you want coffee, there's still like Tim Hortons, McDonald's, whatever. You can get coffee.
And the next day, and that's the thing, is that they close them for like an afternoon. Like one afternoon. It wasn't like it was like a week-long thing even. It wasn't even like it was like a 2-day event or like I don't know. So whatever. Yeah. At the end of the day, yeah, just stop. I just find it funny how so many people talk about how people are too whiny nowadays and complain, but those are the people that are whining and complaining when something happens. Yeah. Like,
I want it my way or no way.
Yeah, they're whining. They're just whining and complaining about different things that, frankly, some people might see a little bit more important to whine about.
Yeah.
So yeah. I wanted to talk about so Nintendo Switch.
Sorry, I was trying to look at your list. I don't know where it's at.
You're good. The Nintendo Switch. You haven't dealt much with it. I mean, you know what it is, obviously. You know what it's about and its capabilities.
I've seen like my friend brought it to work, and he showed me the Zelda Breath of the Wild or whatever it's called, and it looked beautiful.
Beautiful.
So it was definitely impressive. I just haven't been like hands on with any of it. So
yeah. So basically, I saw a couple articles where Bethesda was talking about how they're going to continue the support of the Switch. Bethesda which is Bethesda, in case anybody doesn't know. I don't know how you don't know, but they they are like the developers behind like the Elder Scrolls series, Doom now, Wolfenstein.
See, I feel like if like the PSP would have had like the same backing as like someone so big like Bethesda, that it would have did way better.
And this the thing is, that's what a lot of people are talking about, and like that's kind of why I wanted to get on this topic, is like a lot of people thought that like the Switch was going to end up like how the Wii U. Mm-hmm. The Wii U never got third-party support, even though it was touted as it was supposed to, because the Wii never got that much third-party support. Mm-hmm. And what it was a big downfall, I think, of the Wii U, and I think that's a big downfall of just like in general for consoles and like and stuff like that, is if you don't have support from as many developers as possible, you have a more limited library of games for people to play, even if it's still
your
vast.
Foundation is weak. Like, you don't have anywhere to branch off to,
There's no options.
Yeah. It's just like, this is what this is. and that's it, Like,
it'd be like playing an RPG, and instead of you being able to choose between like 8 different classes or like spreading out your stats, it's like, no, you get strength or you get magic. That's it. You get to choose between like buffing, making yourself strong at punching, or you make yourself strong at spells, and that's it. And it's an RPG, like a whole thing based on it. Like, you have no. It's like, okay, like you don't have like a good basis. Like, yeah, you can still do something with it. You can still play it, but you can still enjoy it. But is it going to be as enjoyable without like a good selection of stuff? And it's also it makes people want to buy like maybe other consoles, like other things to be able to play that. Or I think that's a big thing nowadays, is that's just what it is people want to be able to play whatever they want. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of like exclusive things are starting to get phased out. And it's because gamers have voiced their opinion over and over again, how they're tired of having to buy 6 different systems to play one game that comes out.
That's why I'm so ready for cross-platform, right? Some games are already doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like removing that limitation is doing nothing but bettering like consoles and games in general. So like Bethesda backing the Switch. Oh shit.
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Bethesda backing the Switch is probably great for them, because they're giving them more variety and more options, like better games.
And it's a big, huge developer that makes tons of money selling stuff, and so it's gonna make Nintendo a lot of money, and it's gonna make
they're gonna be
Bethesda a lot of
noticed. They're
money.
just gonna be noticed more. You know. 'Cause
I mean,
it's
look
like,
at how people saw when Skyrim was announced for the Switch, how flipping out people were. They're like, what? And Skyrim's been out for 7 years.
what was that noise?
What? But like I don't know. That's the thing is like I just think that we need to get to a point where like I get people want their hardware to sell, so exclusives are important in that regards. But like
For me, it's like, why can't there be cross-platform for just everything? I get the different like corporations and whatnot, you know, like Microsoft and
Right.
Sony, and they had different servers and whatnot. They own their own stuff. But if you want to like argue that people on like PC have like a upper hand on console players, that's like people using modded controllers. Like everybody, it's just what you're more comfortable with.
right.
Like, I mean, Xbox alone, Microsoft has came out and said that they have no problem with modded controllers as long as it doesn't like affect actual gameplay. Like, I can't remember the brand of controller, but it's like they got pads on the back that act as extra buttons, and they have no problem with that. They've been doing like gaming in a whole has been working with modded controllers since the beginning.
Right.
So for me, like playing on a different console is no different. So I don't see a problem with like cross-platform games.
I think where like the problem is like I get saying like there's like when it comes to online stuff that makes it so it's super it's super competitive. I get where people like have like certain issues where they don't want to do it because then it's like if Nintendo Switch only runs at 30 frames per second on that game and then another game runs at 60 frames per second, like you have an advantage. Whether it's even though it's minute and it might not, but like competitively, yeah, you can't have like competitive.
But see, then I feel like it falls into preference because like if you really wanted to play that game competitively and you felt like you were at a disadvantage, then you would just
That's my opinion. But the thing is they don't want people to have a bad taste in their mouth because they feel like they're doing bad because of the console, which I get. But at the end of the day, everything's gonna just converge into one console anyways. It's gonna happen eventually. It
needs
has
to. It
I mean,
needs to.
Like, I get.
I want to play with my friends, Sony and Xbox or Microsoft.
I get having like like there's a reason why you want to go do this or like you want to own this console, but at the end of the day it's like movies. Like yeah, movies are owned by different like they're produced by different people and stuff like that, but you don't have to go to like a specific theater like unless it's like something that's like an indie movie and stuff like that. And at that point, indie games and stuff like that, those I could probably which is weird because those are always the ones that are always cross platform. But I understand having those more specifically on a thing than having like AAA titles where like
because they're small developers and like they don't have all the resources that like you said,
right.
like bigger developers have
and can go to like all these people and get them all like approved for it because they might not make all. Whereas like for like a AAA title like an indie game where like maybe that one gets 100,000 people that buy it, which cool, like that's a decent amount. I'm not saying it throwing any shade on them, but then you got like a AAA title like a Call of Duty game where you're millions of people that buy it and play it. Why would you make it so there's like certain restrictions on how I don't know. Maybe you do have exclusives and that's fine. Like you have exclusive where you can only like play like those games on that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to like if it's the same game and both systems have a game, then you need to just make it so it's at least have it so it's cross platform.
Like cross platform brings nothing more than more revenue. Like you get more. Like okay,
because people
for instance, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, right? I went to play it. I went to play it because I felt like I don't know, I haven't played Call of Duty in a long time and I wanted to play it. So I go on there on PC and I cannot find one game. Cannot find anybody to play with. So I did a quick Google search and I said how many people are playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered on PC. 9 people. There were 9 people in total on PC. The peak for that week was 36.
That's a lot.
I can't play that game. I cannot play that game online with people because there are 9 people in total, and God knows if they're all in one kind of playlist. But see, like I got on there and I was just looking through like the different like boxes and the different items that you can buy, and I really almost bought some of them until I couldn't find a damn lobby. Now, if it was a cross-platform, I guarantee you there would be more than 36
At least
people.
1,000, you know what I mean? Which is it's just like playable, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's really, it just doesn't make sense because and then people say like, oh, you know, different consoles have different specifications. Maybe that isn't blah blah blah. Well, guess what? If you play a computer game and your computer's not that good and you have to lower the graphics down, people still play it.
Yeah.
And they have disadvantages and they still play those games. So I just think that like if you want to have exclusives, fine, I get it. It's annoying because I want to play, maybe someone wants to play Mario on Xbox, whatever. That should be like that'd be cool to have happen, but I get wanting to attract people to your console, but then when it comes to cross-platform and that game's already on all systems, then just let it be cross-platform. Like, why not? Stop having hate toward each other. Just fucking put together your resources and make a server, and you guys will make so much more money, and you'll also and you'll also cause less disparities like between your consumer base, because they won't hate each other because they think that their platform's better consistently.
There's always going to be like PlayStation people and Xbox people. That's never going to change. So like you're still going to get you're still going to earn money, you know.
Well, I guess on transition from that topic, but to something that's also kind of similar, I saw somebody post something recently where they were asking when were all the developers just gonna, and like all these companies just gonna get rid of physical media. So just get rid of DVDs, get rid of
I thought we were talking games and
games. I mean, like, I'm assuming, like, they said physical media, and so I'm assuming they meant like most things, but yeah, like I get like keeping DVDs, but like they're talking about getting rid of video games and just doing digital downloads. And why
the issue for me with like getting rid of physical copies in general is that takes a lot of money out of like what is it, like Family Video or like places that allow you to rent games, because like, I don't know how you would rent a digital copy, or if that's even a thing.
Or like you pay for like a day or something like that, like $3 on Amazon. You can do that.
See, like that would be more viable. I could see that, but like I don't always just want to buy a game outright.
Well,
and I mean, I guess you can watch gameplay, but that's not hands on.
Well, like I guess like another thing too is like there's no pre-owned market then anymore. Mm-mm. There's no such. Why would you have pre-owned stuff? Because
you mean pre-ordered?
No, pre-owned.
Oh, you mean
like stuff that people own? And, yeah, like getting it like for a discount because someone else owned it and it's a little bit older now and it's not brand new. Which for games, I guess that really doesn't matter. But like,
you can't even like let your friend borrow your game. Like, hey, dude, I see you got the new whatever, blah 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 blah. Can I try it? And
well, they've like to be devil's advocate here. They have talked about like making it so you can like share a game.
That would be
certain
cool.
People. Like that's what Xbox actually was originally going to be, Xbox One, and people threw a huge fit.
Like, okay, if you're gonna cut out all like physical copies or whatnot, you have to give another option. You can't just say we're gonna do away with this and here you go. You got to buy every game that you ever we release.
At the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be something that happens anyway. Just for the simple fact that people like having physical items too much. Like, there's still so many people that enjoy collecting things. What
I do have a problem with physical copies now, is that you have to get the game, and then you still have to download the game.
Yeah, that is stupid.
That bugs me.
But then this is how you have to look at it. So then let's say you get rid of your physical copies, okay? Like, you get rid of all physical copies, everything's digital. You have to have your system or whatever you're playing on has to have enough room in its thing. If it doesn't, then you have to delete stuff off the hard drive, and you have to like make more room. Okay, so you're constantly having to re-download, do all that stuff to get that back if you want to like add different stuff, or you have to get something that can hold a shit ton of memory. Okay, so there's that issue. Then you have to come to the fact of people that don't have internet and that buy just physical copies, and they don't get updates and they don't get like their patches and stuff like that. So maybe they have a game that's more bugged, and that's what because nowadays everything is not finished before it's sent out, or like they find issues after the fact. So then you have those people, they can no longer play games because they don't have, or they have to get internet. There are still a lot of people that don't have internet because
that's kind of like just saying get internet, scrub. Like,
yeah,
you can't do that.
So space limitations, needing to have internet. The people that like to collect things,
they're okay. They're never gonna do away with this.
Not completely.
People still have vinyl like records, you know, like
right.
people.
I mean, they do. Like the thing is, I get like they use them less, and people use MP3s more. But at the end of the day, like
people still want them.
People are gonna digitally download stuff, maybe more in the future, but they're gonna still buy things physically. I think it's gonna be like, instead of it being like a split that's like, I don't think it's necessarily even right now. I think that you still get more people buying physical, but instead of it like, I think that everyone thinks it's gonna be like, oh, everything's gonna go digital. I think it'd be more of like maybe a split of like a 70-30.
See, because like I would be so bummed, and it's happened to me before. If like, okay, I create an account on Xbox, I have this account for 5 years, I don't have the same email anymore. I forget my password. All of a sudden, like my Xbox breaks. Boom! All my games are on the Xbox. Now what do? I just invested all that money in all those digital copies, and I don't have any physical games.
Don't forget your fucking shit.
I've done it though.
I mean, I've done it before. Not like I haven't done like something like that terrible, but I've forgotten stuff, or like you have to go through a big long process.
Yeah, it's hard.
And that's another thing is I'm just saying, what if at one point you have internet?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the next point you don't, or like what if something happens and all the internet in the world just is gone?
All the internet.
I'm just saying, like all of it, like all of it's just shut off. Something happens.
I better get reimbursed.
Nukes. Something happens, and now you don't have that.
I think we got bigger problems to worry about if we get nuked, Cody.
I'm just saying, like at the end of the day, like I could pop in that Super Nintendo as I'm worrying about getting killed by.
As the mushroom cloud is forming behind you, you're like, well, I still got my games.
I mean, like if there's like some sort of like thing that happens, that like some sort of terrible event, like you're fucked.
I'm not playing games if that happens, Cody.
I mean, I don't mean while it's happening. I'm saying like after the fact.
Yeah, I guess.
And you have to like wait and like get all that stuff back and do all that information. I mean, like it's cool because then you could like in that same vein, you could just re-download everything and you never have to worry about it being gone for the rest of your life.
All the mutants and
shut up.
Whatever.
But
just want to play this game really bad.
I hate you so much. You know what I meant, fucker.
It's like, let me in at the door, and you're like, no, I just want to play my game.
Okay. Point I'm trying to make was I think that physical media will always be around, at least in some facet. I don't think it's going to be completely phased out. I think people will still use it. I think it's going to be still a viable option for people to use, and I don't think they're going to completely get rid of it because it'd be pointless and you'd be wasting your time and losing money.
You sounded like a rapper. That's the fastest I've ever heard you talk.
I don't know. The first episode of the podcast, I was like rambling a lot, and I just kept talking and talking and talking. I can talk like real fast, and I don't realize it. All right. So you want to get us started on the next topic, then, buddy?
Symmetra rework.
Overwatch stuff.
Overwatch in general.
Changes that are going on in Overwatch. I don't know how many of you guys play Overwatch.
I still love Overwatch. I just haven't played in a while.
I haven't had a chance to play. To me, it's a game that's now it's even more fun to be like. It gets most of its fun if your team if you still have a team.
Yeah,
playing by yourself is only so much fun because then you start to get like
I'll play the arcade until I get like all the boxes or whatnot, and then I'll get bored. Because I don't have like a select group of people to play with. If you want to play with me, let me know. I'll play.
Hit him up. His name is The Only One.
That's not my name.
Creator Cronus.
Yeah. That's my name. But going into Overwatch. I don't know which one you want to talk about first, but let's just start with Symmetra rework, I guess. Because
so what's going on with it?
She's getting moved into the defense group or category, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, so explain to people that maybe don't 100% know what's going on with like Overwatch, like what the class is and what that means.
Okay, well you got your attack, which is your basic DPS. They're like low health damage output heroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then next to them you have your it's your defense, right?
It's defense. Yeah.
But it's like your miscellaneous because you have Widowmaker in there, you have Hanzo in there. It's
people that can do like a lot of damage, but they're like more situational
Yeah,
in terms of what they do, because they have like
shouldn't
different
be called
utility.
defense because some of those characters get played on offense. So
They just have more utility. It's hard, but what else would you come up with? Utility?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like that's a better name than defense because I feel like labeling them as defense for new players would like restrict who they play as.
But I mean, if you think about it, they are a lot of the time more suited for, and that's why they do that. Like in certain situations, if everybody's new and everybody's trying to figure out the game, like Hanzo necessarily may not be the best for attack.
Yeah.
And they're constantly like doing reworks on people to get them like more into a thing, but they make it so like, yeah, they can be played in other. I don't think they've said before that this class system isn't like meant to necessarily restrict it.
Yeah.
That way it can only be, but it's something to give like a
generalization,
right,
like what they are.
And so support.
But then after defense, you got your tank, which is, your heavy, heavy health,
and support.
Heavy health, low damage output, like heroes. And then after that is your support, which is generally like healers or anybody who affects like your health or helps you in some kind of way.
So they support you. They give you like some sort of like support.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't think Symmetra fits into. I don't think she fits into the support category as the current iteration of Symmetra.
You know what's funny is when she first came out, I think she was more of a support.
She was, because she laid shields on you. And if you went with like a double support like group, that works great because you have somebody who like heals you. Okay, you're full health. You can't go past your health cap, so you throw a shield on them. That pushes you past your health cap, and that would work great as a support. But the only way that she puts shields on right now is with her shield generator, which is her ultimate.
Right, which is something that you have to attain to, and the quickest way to get to it is doing damage with her, and that's the only thing she can really do. So you lay up the turrets, which is not a support thing.
That's not support.
Now,
that's
the thing
defense. It's 100% defense.
They switched her initially because they thought that it was a little underwhelming, her shields, and that it wasn't supporting people in best of a way, because it would be like, here's some shields, and then nothing else attained to support.
Mm-hmm.
So they switched her to make it so she had two ultimates that both supported the team.
And now what I'm seeing,
but they took away and they gave her a shield that like shot out. Those are cool things that support the team. But most of what you do is still based on adding additional damage, which I guess a support can do, kind of. But you play more defensively, and you just have like utilities that help the team.
Yeah,
I think
Torbjorn. Yeah, that's the closest like equal to her is Torbjorn. They like take Symmetra and they're like,
Torbjorn, my turret.
But yeah, that's like the closest hero to who Symmetra is, and he has always been in the defense category. So I think that's good. I think that's a proper move for her. But now with her rework, they're talking about what I've seen. I don't know if Blizzard
how much of it is accurate.
Yeah, how much of it is accurate. But what I've seen is that they're talking about moving her teleport ability from her ultimate to an actual ability. But it's going to be restricted to where it's not just like your whole team can go through there. It's going to be like one or two players. And it's going to be on like a 20-second cooldown, which is good. Because like if you do have a teleporter, you put the teleporter close to a payload. You throw in like a Junkrat or somebody to get people off of the payload. That works great.
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, that's smart. But if you have a teleporter that's just up every 20 seconds, that puts the other team at a huge disadvantage.
Right. Even if you make it so it's like only like 5 people can go through and it can only be used like a one-time thing for the whole team, you're still making it so the whole team can get right back to where it needs to go instantaneously.
And that's bad. So I do think it's like a good move if it's limited. That's good. And they're talking about increasing her damage. In the video that I've seen, this is not coming from Blizzard. I need to make that clear. That this is all speculation.
To me, I think what would work best for her, if she would have... we got a lot of new supports.
The issue with her damage for me is that there's another character that acts almost similar to her, and it's I always get her name wrong. Moira. Okay. You can out damage Symmetra with her abilities, and that's
and heal yourself.
That's so dumb. So I think Symmetra, and she's got farther range. She has like the furthest range I have ever seen for like a lock-on character like that. It's insane. So I think Symmetra either needs increased range or higher damage output. But if you put her on a higher damage output, then things get a little sticky, you know.
The things is, I think what would be cool with me would be if I actually so this kind of like transitions into what I like the other half of this is people are upset because now it seems like supports have to be able to heal, which is like cool, like, you know, that's what you'd think, but then that makes it so like then it's almost it's kind of made people think like, okay, so the only way something can be a support if it heals, so you're just gonna make, if you ever make another support, it's just gonna be someone that heals. Cool. Like, you don't provide anything else. There's nothing interesting that's going on, which, like, I kind of get what they're coming from, in the sense of, I think if they would have left her as a support, or even if they changed her to defense, giving her a way to give people shields again would be cool. Maybe don't make it so like the way that it was before was like you just like you could do it once like during a person being alive, and she could just throw it up on each person, and there's like no like real cooldown on it. Like, it just like kind of like threw it up on like the people, and like they would get 25 shields, and they'd get that till they die.
That's like nothing though.
It's nothing, but like it was like a little extra boost, and she could just toss it up on everybody at the beginning, and so you automatically get like
25. You just got that level.
Yeah, so it was like cool, but like once that shield's gone, you can't put it up again. There's no real indicator like to show whether or not they had it before. So like maybe if she had seen if there was someone that needed it, she would try to like do it and it wouldn't work, and she's like, oh, what the fuck? And so like what it really did was just like kind of like hinder. I think it would be cool if they kind of brought that back, but they put like an actual cooldown on it, and it could just be put on like whenever, and you could just like, it was maybe like 50 shields every 5 or 10 or like 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like somewhere around a 10-second cooldown, because then you'd be buffing up the person, making it so they could take more damage, and you could put it on anyone, even the same person again, but you have to wait for that cooldown to be affected, and so then you're still supporting and providing a buff.
I don't know about that though, because like, what if you have like a Reinhardt and a Symmetra just sitting in the back for like 10 minutes, and she's just throwing shields on him for 10 minutes, and then you get this 9,000 HP?
No. It doesn't go above the cap of 50 or whatever they put it as.
Okay.
Somewhere between 25 and 50 is what I think would be best.
Because that would suck.
It's more of just like that little extra edge. Because have you ever like charged in with a Reinhardt, or like done something with a character, and like you literally, if you would have had like one more health, you would have lived. You would have got out of there and destroyed the whole team. Or like you go in with like a Genji ult, and you could have killed them all with your ultimate, but like someone just got that hit off that did enough damage where right as you pulled out your Dragon Blade, it fucking killed you.
Have you ever got hit like right in the mouth by one of like Junkrat's little balls? It just kills you instantly as soon as you pull out the Dragon Blade. I
mean, I don't play Genji much, but it usually happens where whenever I'm getting ready to ultimate with somebody, I immediately get died. Like, I get died. I get dead.
You do his little voice line, which I am not even gonna. And then it's like, and you ragdoll. That's the worst.
And you're just like, please. But yeah. So I don't know. I think it's cool that they're still trying to make changes on stuff like that.
What I see that is needed for Symmetra is her turrets need more health.
They need more health, or you need to change how they work.
Because like, God, man, you sneeze and it's like gone. It's gone.
I'm saying, like to me, it's like either give her more health, change how they work, or get rid of her turrets and give her something that's more based on like her ability in the lore is that she can manipulate light. So to me, if you got rid of the turrets and just gave something that seemed really cool based on what her actual power is, I'd be more interested. I'd be completely fine with it.
I don't know about you, but like as me, like whenever I do play Symmetra, which is not often, I'm like laying turrets in like hiding
strategically
places. I'm like trying to hide them in bushes and pots.
And that's they did that for that reason, so that you can be sneaky and get people. But the problem is like, even if you do that, all it takes is one stray shot that just happens to go in that area,
or a character that doesn't need to aim. You got a Winston jumps in there and he kills all of your turrets.
He literally just goes 1 second click, and like all the turrets are dead because it just hits everything. And when that happens, it just makes it so it's like, why'd I even waste time putting up turrets?
I just spent 5 minutes laying down turrets that take time. They take time.
Now, if they made it so like you could lay the turrets and they were invisible or something.
But see, the issue with like they're small. the turrets are small and like you can hide them without them being super noticeable. But they it's a laser, man. They show
Right,
you exactly where they are,
and you can hide them. But the thing is like people are so used to like certain things that people have like, I don't know, like they've created. I think what would be cool is instead of like you can hide them and that's cool and like yeah you can like kind of like get like rid of them or like, but like it would be interesting if maybe you could just like manipulate them more and do like something different, or maybe you make it so they like, I don't know, make it so you can choose between two different types, like maybe one like, 'cause you know how they kind of like slow down when they like do something, maybe make it so one like can like really slow them down, or you can choose between that, or you can choose between one that does like a good amount of damage. Or one that does more health.
Cool. That'd be
one
so
that has
cool.
more health. Like you have I think if
like a tank turret, a damaged turret, and then like a slowing turret. Dude, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, because then you could like put them in different places throughout the map strategically.
Like, if you're playing like capture the flag, you put it like in the doorway so it slows them so that they don't like capture your flag immediately.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, it already does, but to like a higher extent.
But like if they made it so like it didn't die as easily and maybe it doesn't do as much damage, because like look at her laser can do a shit ton of damage. If you put like two turrets somewhere, and like if you got rid of the turrets like strong like maybe they did almost no damage whatsoever, but you made it so like they like the more like that they shot you with the lasers, like the slower you got, and so like it like made you crawl. And you just walked up and you just started like fucking laying on with a laser, like they would die. I promise you. You don't need the additional like you don't need to make the
damage crazy.
Damage crazy. You can. I would be more interested if you're gonna make her defense, or you're gonna leave her like if you were to leave her support, or if you were to do anything, make it so like
because like
the turrets manipulate stuff.
Moving her from like a different like one category to another category doesn't fix the problem.
No, and because it's like at the end of the day, like if you want a turret that does a lot of damage, just have a Torbjorn. You know what I mean? So why not make it so if her things die?
Because he's got a way farther range than Symmetra, and his turret doesn't die.
Right.
Like it's only one turret, but Jesus Christ, it locks on like fast.
Yeah, I was about to say like, or like so like if you're gonna make it so like it's like make it so they have a little bit more health. So that way, and if you're worried about them being too strong and that they kill people, take away the damage and give them an effect that it does. Make it so they're really slow. Make it so it takes away. Make it so it takes away the clip of their ammo, so they have to reload once they get hit by it. Like it's just like a one-shot thing. I don't even care what it is. Make it something interesting
and useful,
and useful to where like then you don't have to worry about trying to nerf it or make it so it's like like kills in one hit, because getting killed in one hit, cool, it does a decent amount of damage if it stays on them and it slows them down. It does both of those, but it dies instantly. Whereas if you made it so it did almost no damage and just slowed them down, but it could take more hits, that's enough for you to be able to. That's even enough for you to get away if you needed to. So then you have more ability to do stuff.
As they stand right now, it's like mosquitoes, dude. You walk into a room and there's Symmetra turrets, you're like, oh, that's annoying, and then you just get rid of them.
And like it hurts you, and if you don't turn to take care of it right away, you can die, because they can hurt real bad if you got like a stack of them on there. The problem is though, is all it takes is like, oh shit,
and then
done.
Like even so, if you have that many turrets in one room to kill somebody, you're using all of your turrets in one room.
Yeah.
So there's no linear map that's like, okay, this is the exact way you have to go. So you're just wasting turrets at that point.
To me, it's either significantly buff the damage of them if you're gonna leave the health the same, or nerf the damage and change the health and make it so it's like does something like a different effect, or maybe or even if you leave the damage the same, make it so like the slow is a little bit more, make it so it's useful.
Or
still
just give you the option, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. And then the other thing was you want the Hanzo rework that they did.
Oh, I think it's so good.
Got rid of his scatter shot.
That thing is, man, that scatter shot was annoying.
Yeah,
it was like they were like, what weapon mechanic can we put in place so that everybody can use it and just be equally effective with it? And it's like Hanzo's not that kind of. Like, he's not that kind of hero. He's not, like...
Just shoot it at the ground, right in front of them, they're dead.
You see that Reinhardt over there who's got, like, you know, a good amount of health? Let's one-shot him. Like, that's what you did.
Without hitting him in the head.
Yeah.
Without aiming.
Which
just, like, put it at the ground near him. Shoot it against the back of the wall, kill somebody. Shoot it in a corner, and, you know, someone's around the side, kill him. Like, it could... The thing is that bothered me is that it was so, like, random chance, but at the same time, like, guaranteed as well. So, like, it was, like, either your scatter shot
hit everybody or hit one person and killed them or did nothing.
Or did nothing. It was never like a for sure like this is something that I need to do. It was like it was like, yeah, here it goes. Use it, nothing happens. Because like the thing is like if you were even like a pixel off in like a certain way, the way that it's scattered, it could do nothing to people.
If you hit a tiny ledge, it'd all come back at you. Like
Yeah.
if there was something on the ground that was just a minute obstruction, like send all your arrows in a complete like opposite direction.
Yeah, it wouldn't do anything.
It was horrible.
And like and so like it just, whereas like he's the type of person where like I get why they had it, but he's about like precision. He's about like moving.
He is
dealing a lot of damage, but because you can hit people.
He is definitely one of the heroes who have like a really high skill curve.
Yeah, and he has a high play rate because people always want to think they're good at him. Is
Yeah,
what it comes down to.
Like one of the dummy characters, you know, like the heroes that are just generally easy to play is like Soldier 76, and I feel like that's who people like. He's also one of the best DPS. Don't get me wrong; he is one of the most consistent DPS, but he is definitely like a dummy character. He's
got easy,
basic,
no skill curve, but like if you like don't learn to play better and like understand the mechanics of the game, he won't, like, he has like less of a trade-off. Like he does good damage, but if you don't know how to properly use him because you're not learning more of the mechanics,
you're never gonna be great with him.
You're never gonna be great.
But Hanzo doesn't fall into that category. He is a sniper, high
mobility, high mobility, moves around a lot, still snipes.
So he does take skill, and you can't bring that down because then everybody's gonna play Hanzo and nobody's gonna play.
And that's why everybody played Hanzo, because they had Scattershot, which helped. I think a big part, for some of his stuff, is they like had it for a while there where his arrow. I think it was near the beginning of the game more. When it first came out, but like they had like his arrow, like you barely needed to be precise with it. Like it had a little bit more of like a hitbox for stuff.
I remember when it was like I didn't have the game yet, but Alex, our mutual friend, for those of you who don't know, he was telling me that you could just like spam click the button and like it wouldn't shoot as far, but like the damage would stay the same.
Yeah, it'd be like pretty much the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could just like up close melt people down.
Yeah.
And they're dead.
And so I think what it will do to get rid of that scatter shot, and also what they're doing is they're making them like
what I think it's gonna do is it's gonna keep the people who want to play Hanzo and who stick to Hanzo, like Hanzo mains, you know, it's gonna benefit them, the players who like work on precision and like being overall good
because the skill changed to something that like you fire multiple arrows like volley. in a row, right?
I'm pretty sure it's called volley,
which focuses on still having good aim because you're shooting them in a row.
What happens is it still fires the arrow at 100% at full draw,
right?
But it's reduced damage in quicker succession, so you can't like one shot headshot everybody, but your damage output is still higher because it's faster,
right?
So like it's got like almost the same trade-off as like McCree's like fan the hammer,
right?
Where, like he's inaccurate, but you still put out a higher DPS. It's like that. Like,
it's like if you're up close and personal, or like if you like have good aim because like with fan the hammer, like if you have good aim, you can kill people real easily even from far away because it can still get like if you just have to have good aim because of how it like the recoil works with it.
But no, I think where it really is good for us is like if a Winston jumps in and he jumps on top of you as Hanzo before, like that sucked. You couldn't do shit.
Yeah, you could try to scatter right below you and hope that it would RNG hit him and kill him, or you died.
You just died. So now his second ability is like an escape. It's like a leap backwards. It's double jump, similar to Genji. Not as vertical, more horizontal. So he's just like he jumps back. And now what it allows you to do is like those big tanks that get on you really fast, like Diva, even Reinhardt or Winston. It allows you to jump back, evade some of that damage, and then pop off quick shots in fast succession. So it's good. Like Widowmaker always had her grappling hook. So you jump on a Widowmaker, if you didn't kill her instantly, like she was gone. What's the matter?
Nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
I was just look weird.
No. Yeah, no, you're good.
So now like it makes him more viable. You don't have these dive comps that just completely annihilate your snipers.
Right.
It just puts him in a better area, I think.
Balances a little bit more.
Yeah. It makes him better.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like that they're still making changes in the game and they're still changing stuff up and they're still trying to work on the balancing of stuff. I mean, like what the game's been like 2 years or something like that now.
I think it's a good rework. Can I just ask you a question?
Go.
What the? Okay, because I have not been with Overwatch for the entire time, but what the hell was with Torbjorn being able to climb walls?
What? That was a thing?
Torbjorn initially, like,
when the game first came out?
Yeah, when it was in development, as far as I know, could climb walls.
Did they give an explanation?
No, he's
That's
just
weird.
Wall climbing Torbjorn. You know
That's
how
scary.
annoying that would have been. Torbjorn is climbing up the wall.
They probably did that so that way he could like place his turrets on certain positions easier, like get like a better thing, but it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It would have been scary.
Yeah, that would have scared the fuck out of me if I saw that.
This little hook hand dwarf like climbing up a
wall. I didn't know that. Fuck that.
But that was a thing.
That's terrifying.
My turret.
New topic. So I saw that there was, obviously we talked about last week about how there's a Dark Souls remaster and it's pushed back for the Nintendo Switch. So I saw that there's some news that the Dark Souls remaster for PC owners is actually going to be half off, which I think the game is going to be $40 and it's going to be $20 if you already own the edition that they put out on that thing, because it had already been out for PC.
Didn't Bethesda do the same thing though? With the Skyrim, if you already owned Skyrim when they came out with the remastered, you just got Skyrim.
The legend, I think it was if you owned the Legendary Edition,
yeah,
then you got the remaster. Yeah, I believe that's what it was. You got the remaster if you owned the Legendary Edition,
which I feel is fair. Kind of. Maybe
for PC, you were allowed to get that, but so this is where the issue was with that. The good thing that you mentioned that, because I now that you said that, like I remember that. There's kind of a little bit of backlash because they allowed you to get that for the PC, but the consoles you didn't, and their excuse was that that game. I don't remember what it was, like that their excuse was that game had came out on the consoles, like didn't it had come out on the consoles already, so, or didn't come out on the consoles already, so like they were buying a new game.
Okay.
Which, like, that's what it was, which I get. Trust me, I get it, because, like, yeah, like, the Legendary Edition stuff were still for the previous gen. I can't remember. I thought they were also for the newer generation, too. Were they not? They were only for the previous gen?
I don't know.
I think maybe they weren't. So, like, I guess I get it, and a lot of people were upset. I guess, in my opinion, if you owned it already... So this is what I kind of want to talk about since we talk about this, is... Now that we're living in a world where there's like already been so many great games and there's already like so many stuff and there's like stuff from the past that we remember, but like maybe they weren't done as good as they could have been. There's been a lot of remasters and remakes being put out. I think it's really cool that the developers for Dark Souls remaster are letting people on the PC, if they bought that edition, they get this new remaster for half off, because it's kind of saying like, hey, you already bought it for your computer, so like if you're gonna buy the same exact game but just like a different version, maybe like better, we're gonna give you a discount for it. What's kind of your thought and opinion on like people doing stuff like that? Like, do you think that it should be like necessary if there's gonna be a remaster or remake? If you own it already, should there be some sort of discount or something like that?
I feel like that's a really good business stand. Like, I feel like it's like, hey, you support our product. Like, you've already invested money in our product. All we're doing is going to revamp this game a little bit,
right?
Upgrade its graphics, textures, whatnot.
Make it
if
like
that's
a little better,
what it's
like
going to be.
1080p,
like,
maybe change a couple things, fix bugs.
That's kind of like a thank you. Like, thank you for supporting us. Here's a better version. We're not going to give it to you for free.
Right.
But we're going to like give you something,
Do you think that
I feel like if you do it for just PC, you that's where you mess up.
I was about to say is like, do you think it's wrong? Because this is the problem. They release a new console every year.
Yeah.
Not every year. Like every
yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like every few years they release a new console. Okay. So you own it on the Xbox 360, but you don't own it on your Xbox One. That's why you're paying the full price, because you don't own it on your Xbox One. For PC, that's always one thing, and you're always going to have that there, and you'll own it no matter what. Even if you get a new PC,
Hold on,
if
though.
you have Steam.
Did Xbox, like, okay, so you had an Xbox Live account on Xbox 360. Did they not transfer to Xbox One? Because I didn't. I mean, I didn't go through that phase. I don't know.
I thought that you could.
See, if you did, I feel like that should somehow be linked to your account, and then that.
And that's what I think. That's why I think that if, like, in today's day and age, there should be a way. I think that you should do it for like all everybody,
platforms.
all platforms. I get what your your thought process is like, oh, but if they didn't, you know, like, this is a new platform, so like they're getting a new game. I get it, but at the same time, like, a remake and a remaster are usually on older things. Like, they're usually older things, which means that they're on older consoles and platforms. So, like, of course, the original Super Mario isn't gonna, like, you of course, like, yeah, if you're playing it on a Nintendo Switch and it originally was on the NES, the Nintendo, then yeah, okay. Like, obviously, it's going to be on a different platform, so you're going to make me pay for it again, though, even if I own that. Like, maybe that one, it's kind of hard to track because it didn't have online capabilities. It didn't have accounts attached to it. But, like, if something is from, like,
360,
Xbox 360 or even an Xbox era, really, like, I mean, like, I get them not because it wasn't as widely available, but, like, still, like, if at least Xbox 360... they played it on there's stuff attached to it, and you use that account for, like, your Xbox One, you should be able to have something transfer over and allow you to read that. So I think that it should be allowed for all the platforms. It is a little it's a little upsetting for the people that, like,
purchased it on there,
because, like, I mean, it's not like it's gonna be a whole new game. Like, I've read up on it, and I don't know if you did. Like, obviously you're not that big into Dark Souls, but, like, I read up on it, and, like, they're not releasing, like, new content for it. They're just updating, like, they're updating the graphics. They're making, like, I think they're, like, changing, like, some of the way, like, how, like, to make the combat more fluid, and they're fixing bugs. And they're so they're upgrading graphics, frame rate, resolution, and fixing bugs. And I think, like, all the DLC is also out with it too.
That's cool. See,
that's what it is.
Off subject a little bit, but still on subject. I hate it when developers release a remastered quote, little air quotes, you know.
Little air quotes, yeah.
A remastered version of the game, and then they, like, completely change, like, the dynamics of the game. Like,
give me an example, because I don't like what
like Modern Warfare, the remastered edition, when they
I never played that.
Oh, God, man, like, it's
They
so different. They gave so they just added content that was never in the original game, and if you're gonna release a remastered edition, for me, keep it the original game. Like, its mechanics should still stay the same. For me, that's just my opinion. But they allowed you to, like, get loot boxes, and then there's, like, different, like, melee weapons that you could get that were never in the original game.
Yeah, I think that I'm like I lean more towards your side with that, but I'm a little bit more on the fence because there are some things that if you add that I'm cool with. But yeah, I think for the most part, if it's a remaster,
yeah,
I feel like it should just have updated graphics, fix the bugs, better resolution, better frame rate, make it so it's a more enjoyable experience to, like, what it would have been then, but then, still be the same game.
When you, like,
even have all the DLC for it, because, like, then, like, also then you don't have to worry about buying the DLC again, and, like, you can experience it at what its prime would have been, having all the DLC, having the best, like, least amount of bugs, and having the best graphics. That's, yes, I get that makes sense to me. But to, like, change then at that point, call it a remake, make it a remake, change a lot more about it, and don't just change, like, a couple things to make it so it, like, fits, like, maybe money grabbing things. Oh, we added loot boxes. Why?
Right? And then they added, like, different weapons that were never in the original game that you could, like, get through loot boxes.
Oh, that's unbalanced.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I could be
at the very end of the day, though. Like, that game was
guns.
Balanced to the weapons that I had before, and even if that was unbalanced, that was what the game came out with, and that's what the original experience was. Like, if you're gonna make balance changes, fine, but to completely add new things, I don't know. Like, that just seems
But,
weird to me.
You start adding things, and then like you lose like the nostalgia, you know, like
Right. Like there's certain things that like I get if you change, you make it a little bit better. If it's honestly something that makes it better, but I don't think you should change something because you just want it to be different. Does that make sense? Like, change something if you're making a remaster for it if you want it to be, because it's actually something that makes it a better experience. But don't change it because you just want to make it different, because then it's no longer
you're like
that
trying
game.
to fit into an era. Like,
Yeah.
it's not what it was. You're trying to make it like something new, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just like, here's the old game, we're gonna make it just like the new games. Like,
It's like, no, like
I want the old game.
I wanted to enjoy the old game, but just like in a way as if it was like to come out today
on the current
with
platform, you know?
Yeah, with the current platform, but with like the graphics and stuff that I felt like
it deserved.
Yeah. And I think that's what.
But that's a little off subject. I'm saying.
But yeah, no, like I definitely agree. Like, I mean, like, not completely. Like, that's actually a lot of kind of like what I want to talk about is just like, I don't know, incentives and stuff like that for remasters and remakes. And I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, I think that the Dark Souls, them doing that half off is really cool. I wish that they did that for
other platforms.
But at least they're doing that, and to be honest, I prefer that if developers do something to kind of give back or like show like thank you for supporting the past thing. Here's something better, cheaper. I mean, maybe you don't have to do it free, maybe you don't have to do it half off, but if you do something to say like, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, the Prepare to Die edition for Dark Souls, came out on PC like only like a few years ago. Even though the game's like older, and it came out only a few years ago because like, and there was like tons of bugs when it came out. So to me, realistically, they probably could have like gave this to them for free because of all the issues that they had when it first came out. It was trash. Like, it was like it was a real bad mess on computer, because like it was like they copied the game off of a console and just like stuck on a computer, and so like it felt so unnatural. Mouse and keyboard doesn't work well with that game, so like you had to like use a controller, but the controller settings didn't work right with the default game, like how it's set up with it, because it didn't port over right. So you had to get a program that allowed you to translate like it over to a controller, allow you to use a controller. So you had to get a controller program to use your controller for a game that was supposed to have controller support
and set it all up. That sounds awful.
And then you had to make it so like it wouldn't detect like certain mouse inputs and stop reading it as if like pretty much make it read it as if it was being played on like a PlayStation instead of it being played on the PC. I get if you make it so like that type of game, it's hard to have like
it almost sounds easier to get like a whole like PlayStation emulator, which is hard,
right? But
itself.
But at the end of the day, like it's like, I guess I get having that. I don't know. Like I get making it so like you need a controller needs to be used for that game if it's gonna be on a computer, because maybe those controls worked better with that. But then you should have at least made it so your game worked. So that's like to me at least them doing this is at least something of saying like, hey, like, you bought the game before, not too long ago. Here's it a little bit cheaper. Thanks for. I don't know. I think it's a good practice, and I think like when it comes to a lot of this stuff, people need to start like, developers need to start focusing on like their consumer base and kind of helping them out a little bit, because while you may lose a little bit, you're also going to get a lot more from people, because then they're going to want to buy your other products a lot more.
Have a lot more supporters.
And if there's any DLCs or if there's anything like even like I may not be entirely for like in-game stores and stuff like that if it causes like advantages and stuff like that. I don't like that. But like if there's certain loot that you can get or like cosmetics.
Yeah, like from a consumer like standpoint, if I got a game for half off, I promise you I would be way more inclined to buy like DLC or in-game products if I got that game for half off.
Because you're like, oh, I was gonna buy the game full anyways, but they gave me this, so I'm gonna still. So then you're making kind of more money because it's not like a hardware sale or like a CD sale. It's an actual like sale of virtual item or DLC that you're getting money for. So it's actually like more beneficial even, because the money kind of is like a little bit more distributed towards you. So it's actually a smarter thing to do, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know. I think it just puts a good taste in people's mouth, and instead of
I commend them for what they're doing. I think that they need to.
for this
it would be smarter for them to do something across
in
all
this day and
platforms.
age. They could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, Juan. You got anything else to add?
No,
Anything else you wanted to talk about? Bring up? How did your legs? How are your legs feeling from that? I would assume that by now, the video is gonna be posted because I just need to render it out, and I'm either gonna do that tonight or tomorrow. But by the time people hear this, it should be posted on our channel. There's a new skill check that we did involving a great challenge that I'm so glad that we did.
So directly after, right? Like I went home, and
He waxed his legs. If you didn't see it,
the wax did not come off of my legs. Like none of it. We used those little pads, and it was still like my leg was coated in it.
you gotta take a shower.
I went home and I like had to shave the patches off because it was patchy. So I'm like trying to shave the patches off, but it's covered in wax, so it's not coming off. So I sit down in the bathtub and I'm like, I'm just gonna, soak the leg.
Yeah.
And then it'd come off, which it did. But as I sat down in the soap, like the bathtub, my entire leg erupted in pain. It was so like it's holes, dude. In my whole leg, it was just like
dig a hole.
It was like I had
Dig
fire
a hole.
hands on my leg. It was not good.
You got to go dig those holes. You want to talk about Holes, the movie?
I love that movie.
Dig it out.
It was bad.
You got to go.
So if you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out and laugh at my pain.
Speaking of laughing at this,
Pain.